there a quick tip that you could give every parent,
Mm-hmm.
who may not have your direct phone number, but they will definitely get your website before this is over? What's a quick tip that you could give them to sort of help them think this through?
That is a great question. And I think tips are just a great way for you to kind of get the ball rolling. One of the best tips that I can say from, being in a full-time teacher and then going into homeschool with my own children. And I had those feelings like, oh, I don't want to teach my children. I had those feelings even as a teacher. So one of the best tips I think for myself was be flexible. You can have a schedule but make it tentative, because life takes a toll and it does its own thing. And especially when you have children and then you have the transition. So be flexible. It's okay to take longer breaks. It's okay to have that little family time, because in the beginning I felt like, oh, I have to rush and get all these things done because, like you said, I don't want my child left behind. But they're not going to be left behind. And with my 4 years teaching homeschooling, I realized that a student does not have to learn for 8 hours of the day. They can learn from 2 to 3 hours in a day and still get essential and critical learning done during that time, and meaningful learning and fun opportunities for them to learn. And so be flexible. It's okay. You'll get it done. And another tip, what I would say, if you're not homeschooling on your own and you're part of a online, school, it would be best for you to really communicate with your teacher. Allow them to understand where your frustration is. Allow them to understand what works best for your child and your schedule, so they can really partner with you to make the best decisions in order to help the transition and for you to maintain, the learning to be successful.
That's really great advice, especially the idea of collaborating with, your teachers. And I know you also help teachers because, we're talking a lot about parents, but teachers are equally frustrated in this because most teachers didn't sign up for teaching their kids on an online platform. They expect it to be in brick and mortar and really be part of the day-to-day life of their students. So what's a good piece of advice or tip that you could give teachers to sort of help them through this? Because I know that they're frustrated and they're stressed by the technology.
Yes, and that is the big word, technology. I would have to say, from my experience, I wasn't tech savvy, and during my first couple of years of teaching, because we didn't really use it that much. And so now that we've come into this age where we're very dependent on it, it's so important to just kind of learn the little tools that you can, especially with the Zoom. Learn some of the tools. I would say practice some of them at home. I practice some of them with my son. He'll be upstairs and I use some of the tools and we practice on the computer, and just kind of, even if it's one tool, just practice how you use it. I liked using the chats, and I learned so much from you, Marie, from your company, and learning about game-based learning. I learned that interaction is so important. Them getting out of the seat and not having so much screen time, maybe doing for the little ones, having them go out and go search for something or hunt for something as an icebreaker, can really break up the time and help that interaction be at a high at some point, because the kids need to get up. So practice some of the tools that you have. And if their school is not providing, and hopefully they are providing workshops for you, please attend those workshops, because it's so pertinent and critical for you to feel comfortable and confident. And if you don't, in order for you to feel confident with technology, you got to really understand it. You got to practice. So I think that's one of the best tools. And be flexible too. I know you're the teacher and you have this protocol and you have all these things that you have to do, but you're going to have to be flexible. You're going to have to take your breaks. And I spoke to a friend of mine who's a teacher right now and has gone from, now she's doing hybrid. And I told her, just take your time. I said, if you're communicating with parents, because that was one of the things that was really hard, the communication with the parents online. Some of the parents are just confused and they're not getting it. Just send out little quick reminders. Hey, families, just wanted to send a quick reminder about this coming up. and just share something personal. Say, I know that you're frustrated, and we do care about you and your child, and we know that it's a transition, but we're here for you. Just those little words parents want to hear.